Safety first, so always disconnect power before servicing any electrical appliance. This video will deal with testing and replacement of the thermal fuse and operating thermostat, which is a common cause for Kenmore and Whirlpool made dryers that won't start or run. So the first thing we need to do is get to the back of the machine so we can test the component and see if that's what it needs and then change it if so. To remove the back panel, remove all the screws around the panel that you see. They're 1/4 inch, and you can use a power tool, a racket, whatever works best for you, whatever you have. And once you get all the screws removed from the back panel, you'll then be able to remove it. Now this panel and all the inside parts of the machine are very sharp edged. They're not made to be handled with your bare hands without being quite careful with them, because they will very easily cut you. The last one I'm removing is the one that holds the cover for the terminal block area. So I can grab a hold of it and then everything comes open. To remove this panel, lean the top out away from the machine. And again, I'm pointing out that all these edges are sharp, so be very careful about that. Once you lean it towards the floor, the bottom will just pull right out of the channel. Then set that aside, again making sure you don't cut yourself on it. To do the test, you'll need a volt ohm meter. And what we'll want to do is turn the ohm meter down to its lowest setting, which is in this case the continuity setting. And I'm going to set this up where you can kind of see it while I do the test. The thermal fuse is that white, straight, rectangle looking thing with the 2 blue wires going to it. And the operating thermostat is right below it. Now as you can see, when I put the 2 leads together, I get a tone and I also get a reading on the screen, since that gives continuity. Remove the wires from the thermal fuse, connect one lead to one terminal, and then touch the other lead or connect it to the other terminal of the fuse. If it's bad, like this, you'll get no tone and you'll see the eye staying on there. Now there I'm touching them to the same terminal and back to the other terminal here. So when I do this to the other terminal, I get no reading. If you read that service information label, it tells you not only to change the thermal fuse, but also the operating thermostat or thermistor if it has it. So that's what we're fixing to do to fix this dryer. First, use a 1/4 inch socket to remove the screw that holds the thermal fuse in place. And this just kind of slips out. Just pull it up a little bit and then it comes straight out. It's got a little notch in there on the end that goes into the mounting area on the blower box. Okay, here I'm installing the new one. Just slide it back in with that notch. Give you a little bit closer look at it. This is where it's at. Just slides in and then reinstall it with that same screw. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove, well, let me tighten that one first. I'm going to show you how it would test if it's good, of course, like this new one we just put on. When you touch it, you get tone. And of course the reading changes from I for infinity to whatever the ohm reading is on that screen. So that's what a good one looks like. Now that we've got the new one on that, go ahead and reattach the blue wires. And it doesn't matter which ones go where on those, they can be reversed and won't hurt anything. Now you do want to remember the purple wires go on the small terminals and the red wires where they go on this operating thermostat. It's always best to put wires back exactly where they came from anyway, so it's a good habit to get into. But I'm removing all the wires from the operating thermostat because it needs to be replaced also whenever you have to replace the thermal fuse. And I'm going to go ahead and use a 1/4 inch again to remove the screw that holds it in place. And then it just slides out of that slot. And get a new one and put that end into the slot. Set it in place, then get that 1/4 inch screw and reattach it. Of course, now I can reattach the wires, make sure I put them back where they came from. It's a good idea to mark them some way if you're have too many wires to deal with and you can't remember exactly where they go, just go ahead and mark them with a piece of tape or something, 1, 2, 3, and 4, however you can remember where they go. There we go. Now I'm going to reinstall the back. Now on the bottom of the back, on the inside part of the panel, you'll see a lip. And that lip sits down in this channel on the bottom, or along the base. And what I got to do is get it where it's leaning towards the floor, away from the machine on the top. Set that channel in. Once you get it set into that channel properly, it'll just fold straight up and everything will align. Of course, then you want to put all the screws back in that you took out before. The last one you'll do will be the one for the terminal block cover. You want to make sure, of course, that you put it on. I usually just do it last. You may have to leave the top 2 screws from the panel loose, so you have room to pull the panel out a little bit to get the cover to go back underneath it. But I usually do that one last. Once it's in place, go ahead and screw it in. Got all the screws in. That will complete the repair job. Then you should be able to plug it in and make it work. Hope this was helpful to you. Thank you.